Welcome to another episode of the Dr. Akash Show. My name is Dr. Akash Bajaj, and I am a triple board certified physician focused on giving you rituals and routines to keep you resilient and robust. And today I want to talk about something we've all heard about, probably in all other areas of our life, maybe except for your health, and that is procrastination and urgency. Now, we all know procrastination is not recommended, not necessarily looked upon fondly, and not really considered to be a positive trait for the most part. But what a lot of people don't understand or maybe don't talk about is how procrastination and a lack of urgency can, of course, affect your professional life, but can have a direct relationship on your health. How? Well, if you have this general kind of sense or this general lifestyle of a lack of urgency, procrastination, and you're getting through, so you're not necessarily feeling any immediate acute short-term consequences, you're probably also delaying doctor's appointments that you know you need to get done, maybe delaying labs because it's too expensive, I'll do it next month, I feel okay, so I don't need to worry about it, et cetera, et cetera. Or even like ignoring symptoms because, that thing will go away, that lump will probably go away, or that pain will go away, or even lifestyle changes. Like, I really know I shouldn't drink less, but I'm going to start that after the big holiday coming up, or I'm going to start that at the beginning of the new year. I'm going to get through the holidays first. And listen, I speak from experience. This cycle, if you're not careful, can just continue on and on and on. Next thing you know, you blink, it's 5 to 10 years later. You haven't done anything to get yourself moving in the direction you told yourself you want to go to. And now you're dealing with the consequences as you get older. Because make no mistake about it, unfortunately, we all are going to deal with the consequences of the decisions that we choose to make. And this applies to your health just like anything else. One of the areas to specifically focus on and consider when it comes to delaying your health and procrastinating here and being non-urgent is the actual cost involved. There is a cost involved when you delay your healthcare, when you don't have an urgency to it. Now, that delay could mean that pain or that small bump that you chose to not look into now becomes a bigger medical issue where maybe you need something surgical done, or maybe you need to get on some expensive medications, et cetera, et cetera. And you could have wiped it out so early had you taken action early on when the symptoms appeared. Specifically, consider things like early detection of diseases. Maybe a cancer screening is something that's important and you need to get on top of. Maybe you're hitting that 45, 50-year-old mark and you haven't gotten your colonoscopy, you haven't gotten your prostate exam because you feel okay. And next thing you know, you're dealing with something that could have been totally avoided, right? Because typically what will happen in this case, guys, is something that could have been avoided, it now becomes symptomatic. It can now significantly affect your lifestyle because it's now a chronic disease state. And who knows how far down the rabbit hole that issue can go because it's just been untended to. It's like a garden. If you see a weed pop up and you're like, I'll get it next week. Next thing you know, there's 2 weeds. Next thing you know, a month later, you don't have a garden or a yard anymore. You just have an area full of weeds and it's completely overtaken everything. It's almost too late to fix the problem. You don't want to get to that point where it's too late simply because you just procrastinated and didn't have a sense of urgency for yourself and your health. Statistically speaking, about 20% of people are procrastinators or lack a sense of urgency when it comes to their health with very, very important symptoms. And I'm talking people that have like massive growths or massive changes in their ability to function day to day, and they just procrastinate. Now, that subset of people, that 20% approximately, they tend to manifest with these massively chronic conditions that are just life-changing, life-threatening, and completely alter the course, not just for them, but for everybody else in their life and in their family. The next issue when it comes to urgency is recognizing red flags with your health. Recognize the red flags of your health. There are certain things that when they happen, they're almost always an indication to look further into and not to blow off. So some of those things include the following: unexplained weight changes. Now, this could be either unexplained weight loss or weight gain suddenly or quickly over the course of a short period of time. If you're experiencing anything like this, this is not something that you want to take lightly. You need to absolutely get this looked at immediately because this could be a sign sign of something very catastrophic down the road if not caught early enough. Number 2, chronic ongoing pain. If you're dealing with chronic debilitating pain or pain that's just affecting your overall quality of life and you're choosing to not do anything about it, this can be very dangerous and very catastrophic down the road. Good example of this is like sciatica, something that's very common and a lot of people just ignore. But in this real life example that I see quite often, if a patient states, well, I have this like radiating pain into my leg and it hurts a lot when I do movement X, Y, and Z, so I just choose to not do those movements. Now what could potentially happen, even on a subconscious level, guys, is they begin to walk differently to compensate. Now, because they chose not to deal with that primary issue, they can develop a secondary issue of like hip pain, knee pain, or ankle pain, all because of a change in compensation in the way they walk because of that primary issue. Now, had that specific person just got that sciatica dealt with and moved on with their life as quickly as possible, nothing else would be an issue from a compensation standpoint, and they wouldn't have to worry about now having knee procedures, hip procedures, ankle procedures, et cetera, right? So the urgency here cannot be overstressed. The other thing to keep in mind from a medical standpoint is I can tell you this with absolute certainty, and this is literature backed as well, the greatest prognosis that one has with almost any disease state is early detection and treatment. The quicker you detect something and you treat it, the quicker and more likely you are to have a successful outcome. The longer you choose to wait, yeah, you may be able to treat it down the road, but chances are it's going to be much more difficult, much more expensive, and just a longer journey that may or may not get you to complete recovery. Changes in bowel or bladder function are also incredibly important. Sudden incontinence, massive constipation, urinary incontinence, things of this nature needs to be looked at very quickly and very aggressively, as these could be signs of not just localized issues of those particular organs, but even greater issues in the spinal cord, for example, that you may not necessarily relate right away. And then also changes in mood or cognition. If you notice in a loved one changes in their overall personality, changes in their mood, their cognition, this needs to be dealt with quickly, guys. This could be signs of something not just psychiatric, like a mood disorder. This could be signs of like some sort of electrolyte imbalance, a chemical imbalance with their hormonal state. This could even be a sign of like a malignant type of, mass somewhere, let's say in their central nervous system or their brain, that can affect their personality. So if you start to see this in a friend or family member, instinctively, a lot of us may say, well, that guy's kind of a dick now. I don't want to necessarily hang out with him, or I'm going to give him some time because I don't know what's going on with him. You kind of may want to consider doing the exact opposite, which is, I wonder why Jack's being such a dick lately when I don't really understand if anything has happened between us and I don't really get what's going on here. So let me maybe speak to this person further and see what's going on. You may end up saving somebody's life, guys. So the psychological and psychiatric manifestations are equally as important when it comes to mood and cognition as the physiological ones. How do we move beyond procrastination and urgency? Sure, everything I just talked to you about sounds great, and maybe you'll listen to this video, you'll feel motivated and inspired. Maybe in a week you won't, right? But here's the thing to keep in mind and understand. Nothing happens in this life of any sort of significance or relevance without some sort of action. That doesn't just necessarily mean your health. You can have the greatest plan in the world in your head, but if you take no action on it because you're scared of the results, you're scared of failure, whatever the case may be, nothing is going to come out of it. We're all at the end of the day judged on our actions, right? This is no different for our health. Our body's consequences to our actions will show up. So the importance of regular health screenings, regular laboratory assessment and review, regular doctor visits, regular exercise, things of this nature on a regular, consistent basis, taking this regular, ongoing, consistent action is how you're going to maintain yourself. Your body has been given to you. It's a Ferrari. We've all been given a Ferrari, the top of the line vehicle. We can't even replicate today with all the technology we have. Now, if you choose to never change the oil in that Ferrari or never even look at the oil, never look at the air pressure, and you just drive it, you park it, you get a few dents here and there, you're like, no big deal. At some point, what's going to happen? The engine's going to explode, it's going to break, brakes are going to fail, you're going to crash into a wall, right? So your body's no different. You got to stay on top of these things with consistent action and consistent measurement of your progress. If you're not measuring it, you're not moving the needle forward. That's it. Fear, stigma, lack of time, uncertainty, apprehension or anxiety about consequences. These are all barriers that we all possess about why we don't want to necessarily do anything. Like, I've been having this pain. I kind of don't want to get an MRI because I kind of don't even want to know what the results are going to be. Does that ring familiar with you? It probably rings familiar with a lot of us, right? I'm just too busy. I'm too busy. I'm moving. I'm shaking. I feel okay. I'm getting through my day. I'm productive. I'm kicking butt. So it's all good. I don't need to worry about it. All these things, guys, are eventually going to catch up with all of us, right? So taking that time and making your health a priority by really carving out the time and making it equally as important as a business meeting or whatever it is you need to do is going to accelerate your ability to get your Ferrari, your body running in top capacity, which is going to help you achieve every other goal in your life 10x quicker. No question about it. I've seen it time and time again where my clients come in to see me and there are these high functioning CEOs, these uber wealthy, business people, and they don't really focus or prioritize on their health. But the second we begin to do that, they achieve their goals quicker with a better attitude, a better quality of life, better personal relationships, and all around just a win-win-win. So make it a priority, overcome those internal psychological barriers such as fear, stigma, I don't have the time, I don't want to know what the results are going to be, et cetera, et cetera. The more we can understand that the quicker we get our bodies in maximal optimized condition, the quicker we can do everything else in our life that we want to do and not just constantly feel stressed out all the time. So here are some rituals and routines for you to consider as you embark upon this and start taking your health seriously with urgency and without procrastination. Number one, find a well-trained physician in this optimization space that you like and trust, that you can begin to partner with and work on getting yourself optimized. Number two, measurement. Come up with an annual plan where you measure things. That could be laboratory results, that could be your VO2 max, that could be whatever you come up with your physician. Mark it on a calendar, do it every single time that you agree to do it. That could be once a quarter, twice a year, whatever the case may be. Measure these things and be consistent about it. Number three, if you haven't already done so, develop the lifestyle habits that will prevent you from procrastinating and prioritize the urgency of your lifestyle, leading to your health and your life, guys. This is your life. This is how you see your life. If you're waking up and you're in pain and you're overweight and you're burping and you're farting and you just feel like crap, your reflection of your life is going to go through those eyes. But if you're waking up and you're losing weight, you slept well, you're happy because your hormones are balanced, you have high energy because everything else is dialed in, you're going to be much more resilient, much more robust, and you're going to be able to deflect the negativity, focus on the positivity, emphasize the gratitude in your life, and move forward in a way more positive trajectory, becoming the super version of yourself that you know you deserve to be. Deep inside, you know you deserve to be that person, but you got to take the steps today to get you there. And finally, understand there is a cost here, guys. There's a cost to not taking on this action now. There's a cost to not being urgent. You're not going to pay it now because maybe you feel okay. You're definitely going to pay it in a few years, though, when you're obese, you're diabetic, you have all these other issues, you're osteoporotic because you haven't done these things to take care of yourself. You're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it with ER visits, unnecessary surgeries that could have been avoided, medication management. All these things are going to be financially expensive. They're going to limit you from moving and being active and traveling and do the things you want to do. You're not going to be able to pick up your grandkids if that's important to you. You're going to pay for it. We all pay at some point. Now, you have the option. Do you want to take your life into your own hands today and create this structure for yourself where you put in the work today, you pay now, and you reap the rewards later? Or do you want to just mess around like you've maybe been doing and eventually pay down the road? It's up to you. And of course, recognize the red flags, right? Stop after this video, take 5 to 10 minutes with a piece of paper and a pen, put away any other distractions, and just write down maybe the things that you've been procrastinating or pushing off in respect to your health because of whatever reason you've told yourself, right? Just write those 5 things down. Maybe it's starting to exercise, getting my labs done, calling that doctor that I've been, wanting to call back and forth, et cetera. And I've just never really gotten around to doing it. Setting that first appointment, getting my sleep in order, getting a new mattress, whatever the case may be, right? Get these things on a list so at least you have some awareness and insight of what needs to be focused on, and then start taking small steps because as you guys know, the steps you take today will affect your life in the future. Thank you for listening. This is a very fundamental episode dealing on a very fundamental and hugely important topic of urgency and a lack of procrastination, especially when it comes to your health. We talked about rituals and routines to keep you resilient and robust. Please share this episode, guys. This is something that's probably very applicable to almost anybody that you know. So please share this episode, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, the best time to do something was yesterday. The second best time is today. Don't look back tomorrow with regret. Take one small step today to getting yourself maximally optimized. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Dr. Akash Show.